The chair that was always empty. Every morning, long before the hallways of Brookfield Middle School filled with noise and hurried footsteps, Miss Eleanor Hayes unlocked her classroom and did one small, unusual thing. She pulled out an extra chair. The room was designed with precision. 30 desks, 30 students, everything measured, counted, and neatly arranged. Yet every single morning, Miss Eleanor Hayes placed one old chair near the back wall. It didn't match the others. Its paint was chipped, one leg was slightly uneven, and it never belonged to anyone. On the first day of the school year, most students were too busy adjusting to new schedules and unfamiliar faces to notice it. But eventually, curiosity won. "Miss," a boy said one morning, squinting toward the corner of the room, "why is there an extra chair if no one sits there?" Miss Eleanor Hayes paused. She looked at the chair, then back at the class. "It's meant to stay empty," she replied gently. That was all. The class accepted the answer and moved on. Children usually do, but the chair stayed. Weeks passed, and slowly the chair became part of the background, almost invisible. Sometimes someone rested their backpack on it. Sometimes the janitor pushed it aside while cleaning, only for it to quietly reappear the next morning. No one ever claimed it, except on the days when someone needed it. There was a girl in the class named Lily Carter. She wasn't loud, she wasn't disruptive, she wasn't the kind of student teachers worried about. She was polite, quiet, always on time, and often overlooked. When group projects were announced, desks scraped the floor as friends gathered together without thinking. Lily usually stood there for a moment, notebook held close, waiting, hoping someone would look up and say her name. They rarely did. At lunch, she sat at the same table every day, not alone enough to be noticed, not included enough to belong. She wasn't invisible because people were cruel. She was invisible because people were busy. One afternoon, Miss Eleanor Hayes announced a group activity. The classroom filled with movement and chatter. Lily scanned the room. Every group was full. She felt that familiar tightening in her chest, the quiet question she never asked out loud. "Where do I go?" That's when Miss Eleanor Hayes looked up from her desk. She didn't say a word. She simply pointed toward the extra chair. For a second, Lily hesitated. Then she walked over and sat down. No one stared, no one laughed, no one questioned it. She worked alone that day, but something had changed. She wasn't in the way, she wasn't interrupting, she wasn't waiting to be invited. She had a place. As the weeks went on, the chair became something more than furniture. Sometimes someone sat there after an argument with friends. Sometimes someone chose it during quiet reading time, needing space rather than company. Sometimes it remained empty, exactly as intended. No explanations were ever demanded. Miss Eleanor Hayes never announced its purpose. She simply made room. Slowly, something shifted in the classroom. Students began noticing who wasn't speaking. They became gentler when forming groups. They learned, without being taught, that space itself can be a form of kindness. Lily changed too. She didn't suddenly become outgoing. She didn't raise her hand every time, but she sat a little straighter. She stopped apologizing with her eyes for existing. And one day, someone pulled a chair next to hers. No announcement, no grand gesture, just a simple choice to sit beside her. On the last day of school, sunlight streamed through the windows as students packed their bags and laughed loudly, already half gone into summer. Before the final bell rang, Miss Eleanor Hayes asked everyone to gather around. She walked to the back of the room and rested her hand on the old chair. You've probably wondered about this chair. The room grew quiet. I kept it here for a reason. She looked around, meeting each student's eyes. This chair was never extra. It was for the days when someone didn't feel chosen, for moments when you felt invisible, for times when you needed to belong without asking. She paused. Every room should have space for someone who feels they don't fit. No one spoke. Some students looked down, others nodded slowly. Lily Carter felt something warm settle in her chest. Not pride, not sadness, but recognition. When the final bell rang, she stood up and glanced back at the chair one last time. It was still empty, but it no longer felt lonely. Sometimes the most powerful kindness is simply leaving space. The chair stayed empty, so no one ever had to feel left out again. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.